By the time I turned onto the street, I could already hear them. Music, laughter, the uneven rise and fall of voices that had been drinking since afternoon. It carried farther than usual, like it wanted to be noticed. I slowed the car before pulling in, not because I was nervous, more because I needed a second to understand what I was looking at. The banner came into focus first, bright centered above the garage, not handwritten, printed. Plan goodbye freeloader, don't come back. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't a joke you had to think about. It explained itself immediately. For a moment, nothing in me reacted the way it probably should have. No anger, no embarrassment, just a kind of quiet alignment, like something finally made sense in a way it hadn't before. I parked anyway. Nobody noticed at first, or maybe they did and chose not to interrupt whatever version of the moment they were enjoying. I stepped out, closed the door, and walked toward the house like I had already decided how this would go. The smell of grilled food hung thick in the air. Someone laughed too loudly at something that wasn't that funny. A chair scraped across concrete. Then my uncle's voice cut through everything. "Look who showed up!" It shifted the attention. Heads turned. Conversations paused just enough to make space for recognition. He raised his drink like this was part of the entertainment. 29 years old, he said louder now, performing it, and still no career. Your poor mother had to carry you for years. There were a few chuckles. Not everyone laughed, but enough did. I didn't look at him for long. My brother leaned back in his chair, already smiling like he'd been waiting. As I walked past the patio, something hit the side of my car. A soft thud. I glanced back. A hot dog, sliding slowly down the door before falling to the ground. "There," he said. "Your last free meal." That got a bigger reaction. Even the kids, old enough to understand tone, not old enough to question it, were watching, pointing, picking up on the rhythm of it. I didn't stop. The front door was unlocked. It always was. Inside, the house felt smaller than I remembered. Or maybe just quieter compared to what was happening outside. My room was mostly empty already. I had packed what mattered over the last week, slowly, without drawing attention. There was one box left. I picked it up, checked it once without really looking, then carried it back out. The noise hit again as soon as I opened the door. Nobody had moved on. The moment had been waiting. I walked across the yard, past the same faces, the same expressions. Some amused, some curious, some avoiding eye contact, just enough to not feel involved. No one blocked me. No one apologized. I reached the car, opened the back door, and set the box inside. That's when I paused. Not long, just enough to look back. The banner, the chairs. My uncle still half standing, still holding his drink like he hadn't finished what he wanted to say. My brother leaning forward now, watching to see if I'd react this time. It wasn't chaotic. It was organized, intentional. I took my phone out, framed it once, the banner above them, the group below, the setting exactly as it was, and I took the photo. No one stopped me. I got into the car and left. The first few days after felt quieter than they should have. Not peaceful, just unfamiliar. No background noise, no passive comments, no need to explain where I was going or what I was doing. At first, I kept expecting something, anger, regret, some delayed emotional reaction, but mostly there was just space. I kept working, the same projects, the same routines. Nothing dramatic changed externally. Internally, something had shifted, but it didn't come with clarity right away. Just distance. I didn't send the photo to anyone. I didn't need to. About a week later, someone else saw it. A friend I trusted enough not to ask permission before sharing it further, though they told me after. Not publicly, not recklessly. But in a context where it mattered, the kind of place where people don't laugh at things like that, where it gets read differently. I didn't realize it had traveled until the messages started. Not all at once. Just gradually. My brother first. Talk now. No greeting, no context. Like urgency could replace everything that had already happened. I didn't respond. Then my uncle. "Sweetie, I was drunk. I didn't mean any of it." It was the first time I'd ever seen him use that tone with me. It didn't fit. Then my mom. "Call me back, please." A few minutes later. "I'm begging you." I stared at that one longer than the others, not because it changed anything, because it was new. I thought about the banner, the planning, the chairs arranged just right, the way no one had hesitated. This was hesitation. I didn't call. The messages kept coming over the next few days, softer, more careful, trying different angles, explanations, minimizations, small rewrites of what had happened. It wasn't meant like that. You know how your uncle gets. We were just trying to push you. I didn't correct any of it. I didn't agree either. Eventually, my mom showed up where I was staying. She didn't come inside. Just waited near the entrance, like she wasn't sure what the rules were anymore. When I stepped out, she looked smaller than I remembered, not physically, just less certain. "We didn't think," she said. It wasn't an apology. Not exactly, but it was closer than anything before. I nodded. "I know." There was a long pause after that, the kind where both people are aware something important could be said, but neither knows how to shape it. "You could have talked to us," she added. I considered that. Then shook my head slightly. "I tried," I said. "Just not like that." She looked down, then back at me. "What do you want now?" It was a direct question, maybe the first one that wasn't loaded with expectation. I didn't answer right away, because the truth was, I wasn't completely sure, but I knew what I didn't want. "I don't want to go back to how it was." She nodded slowly, like she understood that part at least. We didn't settle anything after that. No clear resolution, no agreement. She left the same way she came, carefully. The messages slowed down after that, not because everything was fixed, because something had changed in how access worked. They still reached out sometimes, More measured now, less certain. I responded occasionally, briefly, on my terms. Not to punish, not to prove anything, just because that's what felt right. The photos still exist. I haven't deleted it. I don't look at it often. I don't need to. I remember it clearly enough, not as the worst moment. Just the one where everything stopped pretending to be something else. And after that, it became easier to decide where I stood.